All right, what is up, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's another Monday night. It's another Living Force. Tonight, we are all about reference books. We're going to do some weird images. We're going to tell you some of our favorite Easter eggs. And, of course, keep you in the know of everything that's going on in Star Wars books. But before we're doing that, Wesley has to punch it. He has to punch it. Welcome into the Living Force, a Utini Network podcast. I am one of your hosts for tonight, Eric Eilerson, and joining me is the full cast of crazy, kooky characters, starting with the no longer Jeep owner, Dr. Corey Helton. Hey, man.
That's right. That's right. Hello, hello. I sold my high school and college vehicle today, guys. Like, it's been sitting in my driveway. Yep, it is. It's been sitting in my driveway. It's been our sort of extra vehicle to, like, you know, in case we wreck a vehicle. It's actually came in handy multiple times. I loaned it to a buddy a while back when he got into some and got to a wreck and couldn't get a car, and it was a mess. So it's been nice to have, but finally time to see it go. It's like barely running, and I got rid of it today. So that's exciting. It felt a little it was a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. It was weird.
Yeah. Now some poor teen gets to have their first very unsafe old car, as is tradition.
What? Since we don't have my audio. What?
Oh, we lost Corey's audio, but you know who we didn't lose?
Hell?
Dr. Charles Hankel's audio, maybe.
Hey, is my audio here? Hopefully so.
I hope so.
Guys, tonight is all about reference books. I have a lot of Star Wars reference books. I need a reference book on life. That's what I've decided this week.
Heard that.
I think that's what they call a doctorate. Didn't you do that already?
It didn't work. I should find another one.
Well, speaking of doctorates, as Ian pointed out in the chat, those who do not have them are myself and the glorious, the estimable Wes Jenkins.
Good evening, everyone. I just can't hear Charles's audio either. We may have
It's going great.
We have a technical difficulty.
It's going great.
We'll check. We'll see.
You hear Wes though, so that's good. That's all I care about.
Are we sure it's not on Emma's end? Can anybody else
Jesus,
hear us
you
in the
guys have
chat?
my computer muted.
Yeah.
Oh no, Emma!
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm about to say. I was like
Holy
frantically going through all my troubleshooting, and I'm like, wait, everything looks exactly the way it should. All right.
So our podcast listeners, our audio listeners, Emma, our glorious Emma Park in the chat was like very helpful usually. Hey, can't hear you. Audio's down. We're like, okay, you know, it's fine. Her computer was muted, but we are here. We are here because we love you all. We love the Star Wars. And we do love Emma, regardless. But before we get into the Star Wars news, I wanted to give you, Dr. Corey Helton, a moment to plug something. We're very big pluggers of our own projects here, and you've been doing something that you shared with our Slack for a while, but some people may not know about.
That is correct. Hear me. I'll pull it up really fast. So my wife and I have been doing a new little fun project. My wife and I, we've been working on a project. We've been doing a new project. Caitlin and I are building a camper. We're building like a tiny home, like a trailer, a camper, out of a cargo trailer, right? So you've seen these like work trailers and stuff. And they're pretty cheap. Caitlin and I bought one a while back. With something we've always wanted to do is we really like camping. It's one of our hobbies that we like doing together and traveling. It's really cheap to travel and camp. So Problem is, campers cost like 30 grand, and we don't want to drop that kind of money on something stupid like that. So we're gonna build one. So Caitlin and I, we created a YouTube channel. We're documenting the entire process of building this thing, and here's the channel. It's Doc and Mental. My wife is a therapist, so it's kind of a play on words there. I'm the doctor, obviously.
Good one.
She's a therapist. You get it? You guys
Look
get
at that.
it?
It's very creative.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're amazing. You're a
I
genius.
wasn't sure if you guys would understand it. It's a pretty high level.
I don't have a
but
doctorate, but I do understand the letters.
that sounds good. Yeah, check it out. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's just the two of us and working on stuff, and you get to see how everything goes wrong all the time. And I break stuff, and I put holes in the trailer, and I swear a lot, and it's pretty classic me. So.
Just like Utini got made.
That's right, just like Utini. So apparently I can't have enough projects, but I started working on this on night shift, and I've been happy to share it with the team. So check it out, Doc and Mental. It's on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think.
Very excited for more of that. We've been following along the project. I remember that day we got a Slack message where Corey was like, guys, I bought a trailer. And me and Wes and Charles were like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen?
I don't think anybody was surprised at all, to be honest. Like,
not at all.
Question anything anymore.
I know.
No, you can't. But yes, go check that out, guys. If you want more Corey action in your lives. Another thing I want to talk about before we get to our roundup today is I wanted to shout out our Discord community, whom we love. The Utini Discord continues to be thriving and spectacular. And the past week or so, past couple weeks, there's been a lot of chatter in the High Republic channel specifically, because we decided, or the community decided, to have a bracket, like a March Madness-esque bracket of High Republic characters, and it got a ton of traction within our community. And I just wanted to shout out everyone that has been talking in that channel and has been voting. As of recording right now, the finals are going on right now, guys, between Bel Zetafar and Elzar Mann, and Bel Zetafar is kind of running away with it. So if you have not checked out the High Republic channel or anything in our Discord, that's the kind of shenanigans that have been going on lately, and there's been a lot of like trash talk back and forth based on characters. So just real quick, we have been watching, even though we haven't been in the whole time, we've been watching in our Slack, talking about it amongst the staff members. We love that you guys have been doing it. Thank you so much for making our community a fun place to be. And I'm so glad anytime we can get more sports things like drafts and brackets into Star Wars, we're going to change the world, everybody. I love it. All right, now, speaking of people who change our world, our patrons. We want to say thank you to everyone that supports us over on Patreon. You make literally everything we do possible. And this week, wanted to welcome Chris F4, a very active Discord user, to our monthly Patreon community. We hope you're enjoying everything over there, the extra shows, the extra content, and of course, if you don't support us over there yet, you can head over to patreon.com/Utini. Check out all the tiers there and get ready for our trivia night, which is a month from tomorrow. That's right, y'all. It's coming August 20th, Friday night. The four of us will be having a trivia night where our very own tech genius, Emma Park, will be moderating us, imbibing beverages and trying to answer Star Wars trivia questions only for our patrons. So we will see you then. All right, now it is time for the Star Wars Weekly Roundup. Look at that graphic. Look at it. Beautiful. This week on the Star Wars Weekly Roundup, we got a couple news articles that we want to tell you all about, keep you posted. Chief among them is The Mandalorian, little indie show. Ever heard of it? Picked up a whopping 24 Emmy nominations. Yo, look at Grogu. Look how happy he is. Look at that.
Doesn't look
I'm so
very
proud
happy.
of him.
He doesn't look very happy.
Way to pick up the bit, guys. Way to say yes and. Appreciate ya. But yeah, guys, this was awesome to see. We picked up a lot of Emmys, such as Outstanding Drama Series. Chief among them, our very own Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, got Best Supporting Actor nomination. We got 2 guest star actor nominations for Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth and Carl Weathers as Grief Karga, who got a guest this, which was interesting. And guys, the Ahsoka episode, Chapter 13, received 8 nominations, like by itself, for directing, writing, etc.
Nice.
So. Like,
Incredible.
how cool is it that Star Wars are getting Emmy nominations?
Yeah, it's really
Like,
rad.
The Emmys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of a good jumping point for an Ahsoka series, right? I mean,
Yeah.
8 nominations for one episode.
Yeah, for real.
Might be something coming down the pipe.
I imagine.
well-
Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
I was just gonna say it's so well deserved, and it feels good to say, "Hey, this is just good TV." Like it's not because I'm a Star Wars fan. This is just good TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's one of those things that's probably it's a metric, right? A measurable metric that someone somewhere uses as a success metric, right? So
sure.
Maybe this means we'll continue looking at these things. It's more pushing in the direction of doing more Star Wars TV shows. So that's can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and it feels good. Like I know award shows have a history of like, a little bit of it's political and it's who you know and blah, blah, blah for sure. But objectively speaking, have something that we all love. And if you're listening to this, watching this, we assume you love it too. But to have the larger kind of entertainment community be like, that has value aside from just the fact that you love the universe. So awesome. Congratulations to all the creators of Mando. And speaking of the creators of Mando, if you're like us, you watched a lot of the Gallery Mandalorian show that showed the behind the scenes of both season 1 and season 2. Really incredible. It's on Disney Plus if you haven't. We are going to get one final episode on August 25th because you may have noticed in the last Gallery season, we didn't see behind the scenes of that fabled season 2 finale when that one very special character came up. Spoilers for Mando season 2 about to come in this picture. But Corey, show that picture of what we're going to see in the making of season 2 finale. Mr. Luke Skywalker himself. We're finally going to see. That's right. He did. It happened. We're going to see behind the scenes of that episode. It's getting a whole special on how they did that. Like, I'm so jazzed. I didn't think we were going to get this.
Yeah. It's crazy. This is a sick image too.
Yeah.
God.
And to see some more like references and some talking points, there's a link in the description. You should go check it out on StarWars.com.
Bam.
My favorite thing about this image is the Disney Plus logo right on the dead stormtrooper's head. So well
They're like, we did it. We did that.
Somebody just clip out that one little square and be like, Disney Plus.
Yeah. So that's August 25th. We will be out of Bad Batches, I believe, by then, or somewhere around then. Or that might be the finale day. I haven't checked. That's almost a month away. I don't think that far ahead. But keep your eyes peeled on that. And Mark Hamill was on the Tonight Show, I think, recently talking to Fallon about how excited he is for that to come up. So he was doing some promo for it. He'll be giving interviews about being Luke again. And come on, you're hearing Mark Hamill talk about being Luke Skywalker. I don't care who you are, hit you right in the feels. Love it. Now, something that's coming a little quicker, if you are a non-patron audio listener, you might be listening to this on Friday, July 23rd. And if you started your morning with us, first of all, thank you. That's very nice. I hope you're having a good morning. But secondly, today, Friday, July 23rd at 2 p.m. Pacific, the High Republic is having their San Diego Comic-Con panel. This is the Comic-Con at home, again, because of COVID. We talked about this last week briefly. They're going to be streaming the video panel for anyone that wants to. You can find the info on the Del Rey Twitter and things like that. And all of the Project Luminous High Republic authors are going to be on a panel with Christina Ariel revealing the next wave of High Republic titles on Friday, like this week. Y'all, I feel like this came up relatively quickly.
Yeah,
didn't it?
Definitely did.
Yes.
It definitely did.
Sure did.
It's we keep getting Star Wars books so fast. Like they're pumping them out. It's like I don't know how we have time to read them. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm exhausted.
Are they going to announce during the panel? Are they going to announce books? Or are they going to talk about the ones that are already there?
Yeah, both. It sounds like they're announcements. So it sounds like everything we've heard basically because this is Comic-Con. This is this is the big boy. So what do you guys think we're getting?
Comic-Con sucks. My Comic-Con in Houston is nothing like this. That's all right.
Funny.
We'll get into that later. I got a shirt that I got to show everybody that I'm wearing, and then some of the box of goodies that I had. So, anyways.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm sorry, Wes, that your Houston Comic-Con isn't as big as the, biggest Comic-Con in the literal world. But what do you guys think we're getting? Let's see. Let's do fun predictions. We don't like to speculate a lot, but let's say, assuming we're going to hear about the next wave, adult novel, YA, middle grade. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Who do you think's doing what? Let's throw out some predictions. Charles, I'm gonna put you right on the spot, man. What do you think?
All right. So I'm gonna say Kevin Scott, YA.
Okay, sure.
because he has done some of the other stuff. He just did the adult novel. Give him a turn at YA.
All right. I like that. Wes, you got a good prediction?
Does Daniel Jose Older get the adult novel? Get the major novel in this last third tier here?
Yeah,
that
he's done Last Shot.
Yeah.
He's done it before. I like that.
I'm going to throw a dart at the dartboard and bend the rules a little bit. I think they're going to announce an audio drama. I would love to get
another one,
an audio drama.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe Kevin again. I mean, he's got the experience with the audio drama.
He's doing Tempest Runner already, so let's make that an annual thing.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm gonna say I think twofold. One, I think Kevin gets this wave off. Is my guess because he did Rising Storm. He's doing the comic and he's doing Tempest Runner. I love the man. Let him sleep. But I also think Claudia Gray does the adult novel.
Yeah,
I think that's Master and Apprentice. I think she comes back. And actually, B Nasty had a great thing in the chat. I'm not going to pretend this is my idea. I got to credit you, because what if the next adult novel is called Eye of the Storm? Because you got the Eye, the Storm. I dig it. And of course, Emma, you already said the thing I need. High Republic Funkos. Give us some toys. Come on. Do it. Do it. I'll buy Black Series. I don't care. So stay tuned. Of course, all of the talk about that will be in our Discord channel and our High Republic channel. And I don't know, depending on how big the news is. I mean, Corey and I, way back when, did a live, what do we do? Like our reaction
video,
to something.
I don't know. We could throw something together if we had to.
Well, it'll be a big day. We'll see how good the news is, because sometimes we say it's going to be the best thing ever, and they're like, the paperback covers, and I'm like, okay, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
but another thing we got that I literally saw on Twitter like 5 minutes before we started this was a cover for an upcoming book that we've kind of forgotten about, which is called Showdown at the Fair by George Mann, which is the next kind of like young kids High Republic illustrated sticker book. Look at this beautiful cover. Has our glorious boy Buryaga on the cover.
He's wearing a bathrobe. I've never seen a Wookiee wearing a bathrobe before.
A bright white Jedi bathrobe.
It proves that Chewie was naked.
Yeah. Yes, it does. We know this now.
God.
We know this.
Disney's missing out on that market right there for bathrobes.
Come on, we need them. But that was going to be released October 5th, sorry. And we just wanted to show you guys that cover art. And as a reminder, there will be stickers with this. If you missed it, the last one, there were stickers, and then no one could get it, and everyone wanted High Republic stickers. So check those out. All right, and then the one last thing I want to talk about. We have a lot of shows on here on this network, and we love them all. And last week, our friends over at Legends Look Back got to put together Cosmic Force. My mistake. Corey, get out of that Slack channel. I see what you're doing. Everyone, also, Cosmic Force has been doing a great job so far. We love you all. They did a Lando roundtable, and one of our hosts, Caleb, his wife handmade him a Lando cape. And y'all, he posted the picture in Slack if you missed it. And we got to throw this up on the screen because, Caleb, one, you rock this cape beautifully. And two, shout out to your wife for hand making a Lando cape for a round table.
It's awesome.
This is so fun.
Yeah, it's like the pattern on the inside of the fabric, too. It looks super legit. Like, he was saying that he was thinking about cosplaying it sometime just because the cape ended up so good. I'm like, that's fantastic.
He's got to. I mean,
beautiful.
That's the type of stuff that cosplayers are really into. Because they're handmade.
Yeah.
Like if you buy something at the store, people scoff at you or whatever, which is stupid in itself. But they really get after the handmade items, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the lining especially. Well done there. And again, y'all, if you listen to our show, we love you. We thank you. If you tune in, we love you more. Don't tell the audio listeners. It's okay. But if you're not following along with the Cosmic Force on Wednesdays and the Legends Look Back on Thursdays, get on that. They're great folks. And as a reminder, for this show next week on what is today, the 19th, the 26th, we will be starting our two-part roundtable on Kevin Scott's The Rising Storm. If you've missed our roundtables, they're a lot of fun. Charles does a ton of work, and we get to sit around and talk about the book with full spoilers, talk about characters, talk about themes, overarching questions and Easter eggs. You can't miss it. That starts next week. And in 3 weeks, Sorry, I'm telling you all the future schedule because I love you. In 3 weeks, we're going to do an all-question show. So we want to hear from you. Any questions you have for us, like you hear on the Patron of the Week. It can be hypothetical Star Wars things. It can be our favorite characters. It can be what planet would you want to live on. It can be any question you have, ideally about Star Wars, but maybe not. Send them to us in our Living Force Discord channel. Tweet them at us on Twitter, and we'll compile a list and have an all-community questions episode after the roundtable. So that's all coming up. We cannot wait for it. And in the midst of all this, there's some books, you know. And if you want to order some books, including The High Republic Out of the Shadows, coming out next Tuesday. I know you guys, crazy. Literally a week from tomorrow, we have another High Republic book coming out from Justina Ireland. Make sure you check out our Utini release schedule on the website. We got pre-order links there for you, so you can make sure to get those books to your doorstep and join in the conversation. And we love it so much. All right, Charles, we got a couple book reviews. Can you put those up for us, please?
Indeed. Couple book reviews here. The first one from, dare I say, a regular in this section nowadays is Lando, who read Heir to the Jedi by Kevin Hearn and gave it a womp womp 2 stars. Calls it Luke Noodlebender. And that might not make sense to y'all, but we'll kind of give you some background in a second. But Lando says, yes, this is the noodle book I've heard so much about. The noodles weren't even that bad. It just didn't really have a reason to exist in the new canon line of novels and was written in a style that didn't really do the reader any favors. It's not my favorite, but getting inside one of my favorite characters is fun, and actually seeing Luke as a romantically challenged 20-something connects him with Anakin in better ways than I think I've ever seen. So I don't even probably know the full extent of the noodle thing, but there is a scene involving noodles in this book that took on a life of its own in our Discord. And I don't even know who to blame. I don't know who was responsible. Probably Heather.
Yeah,
Joxy, I think. James in there.
It's been a huge joke, like since this book was written. Like, isn't this the first canon book? Technically, I think it is.
It was it was going to be a Legends book because there was going to be like a Leia. There was what is it called? There's Razor's Edge is the Leia book, and then our Honor Among Thieves is the Han book, and then this was going to be the Luke book. It was going to be a Legends trilogy.
Yeah, that's right, a Legends trilogy, and it probably got chopped up too, probably edited. I don't know. We should ask John Jackson Miller. He probably knows.
Yeah, well, this one was written in first person, which is also hard for a lot of books. And then the noodle part, to be clear, Luke is between episodes 4 and 5, so he doesn't really have the Force yet. You know, like in Empire, he barely gets the lightsaber into his hand. He tries to wiggle noodles with the Force, and he like gets to a little bit.
You're like eating ramen, and he like tries to wiggle them. It's like, okay, cool, bro.
But I like this review by Lando too. I'll put this one in the outline because I think this is a great way to talk about a book you don't like. Like it's a 2-star book. Didn't really enjoy it, but you know what? I like being in line with my favorite characters. That's the Utini spirit. And I like being like, you know what? I can make it tie to Anakin. And that's something good I can get out of this book I didn't care for. So Lando, well done.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Corey, this next book that was reviewed is one of your all-time favorites. So how about you take this one?
It is. This is by Moonfly, reviewed Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, gave the book 4 stars, called it a fun prequel to a prequel. She said, I listened to the audiobook narrated by Jonathan Davis. I enjoyed this book, but I did find it a little slow at times. I love getting to see Qui-Gon again and learning more about his relationship with his former master, Count Dooku. I think this book explores some great points that are touched on in The Phantom Menace, such as slavery, Jedi connections, Jedi recruiting, and the Living Force. Overall, I think this is a great standalone book, especially for anyone who is a fan of The Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogy. I love Master and Apprentice. It's one of my favorite books. Like, I think that's been written.
It's so good.
Yeah. And shout out to name dropping Living Force right there. That's pretty fantastic. That is kind of where we pulled our name from, was around that era of time. So
it was literally it was our first, way back in the day, our first roundtable book, and we were thinking about names for it. We were reading it, and that's where we got it, because Qui-Gon talks a lot about the Living Force itself, and we were throwing around names. I don't even remember. The Beacon or the Signal or something was when we thought about doing. And then we read that and we're like, guys, what about the Living Force? And we're like, oh my gosh. And
although the Beacon would be a fantastic name for a High Republic themed podcast, I have to say.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
This is how you teeny things happen. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you all for those reviews. And again, if you want your review on this very show, find your book at Utini, go to its official book profile, scroll to the bottom of the page. You can add a star rating and a review, and maybe we'll read it on this show. Now, as a reminder, the next 2 weeks, we won't have book reviews because it'll be roundtables, and Charles will literally kill us if we take too much time before we start doing the book. But we will get back to those very soon. Thank you all. Again, it does help. Also, people looking at those books, seeing if they want to purchase them. Your review might help someone find a new classic they'll love. So thank you so much for your reviews. All right. On that, we are going to take a very quick break. And on the other side of it, we are going to talk about some of our favorite Star Wars reference books. Be right back. I'm trying something new. So everyone, we're here to talk tonight about some Star Wars reference books. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Star Wars reference books, guys, let's just start with that very simply. What is a Star Wars reference book? Because not every kind of fictional universe has these.
Yeah. They're like coffee table books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you know when you go... Sorry, go ahead, Wes.
No, it's supplemental to the movies and the TV shows, right? So it's something
like homework
that
for
you
fun.
can find details of things in the movies that you didn't know existed and weren't actually said in the movie, but it's all like just some background stuff that helps you understand the story a little bit better.
Yeah. And I guess I want to ask before we get into some different types of reference books, and again, some things we've learned from reference books that we love. Charles, I want to ask you, did you read any of these as a kid, or did you only kind of get into reference books more as an adult?
So I had 2 reference books, I know for a fact, when I was a kid. One I still have to this day, and some of my factoids from tonight came from it, and that's the Jedi vs. Sith, The Essential Guide to the Force, because I've always loved all of that kind of background lore. And the other was the Essential Atlas, because I was obsessed with all the different planets, and I wanted to know everything there was to know about those. But as I got older, I transitioned into the art books because I became a huge fan of seeing what almost made it into projects, or I just really all of the concept art is a huge thing for me. Look at what they're doing at the end of all the Mandalorian episodes with all that concept art. I love it. So I really transitioned more so to those. But yeah, I've always had some level of interest because it's a massive universe. I want more information.
Totally. Corey and Wes, same to you guys. Did you care about this kind of extra stuff as a kid, or same as Charles is saying, are you kind of now as an adult more interested in like the behind the scenes making of stuff, like with sketches and things like that?
Yeah, I'm more intrigued now than I was when I was younger. One thing, like when The Force Awakens came out, I was amazed that everybody knew who Kylo Ren was and some of the background knowledge of all this stuff. And I was like, how do they even know? The movie hasn't even played yet.
Yeah,
like, it's
right.
months beforehand. And they're just like, well, there is a supplemental literature that you can pick up. And I was like, huh, you don't say. So that's when I started looking into that. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, now I can find out the backstory of stuff before like stories are even told. And after the story is told, I can find out, what are the small details, like what was that blaster used for and who used it before that person, kind of stuff. And it's cool Easter egg things that you can bring up in a conversation or talk to your friends about.
Yeah. Corey, what about you?
Yeah, I wasn't really into the reference books. And even now, I wouldn't call myself much of a reference book enthusiast. I own 4 is literally all I have, and they're all visual dictionaries. And I didn't even realize that until like I started prepping for this episode. I do have this one. It's the complete Star Wars visual dictionary, and this was released shortly after Revenge of the Sith. Like, let me see here. When is
the complete for now?
Yeah, the complete for now, right? Because it was the complete for now. Yeah.
I do love that they keep releasing the quote complete visual dictionary. Like there's a new version every couple of years.
Here, the foreword was written in 2006, so I mean it was about that time, I imagine. And yeah, I wasn't really huge in the reference books. I didn't really know that they existed. I think the reference books were a bit of a like luxury. I think. I mean, I'm from like the absolute boonies, Appalachia, because like we didn't have bookstores. It was a very rare treat to get to go to like a Barnes and Noble or anything like that growing up. So, you know, I always felt like I had to pick up novels because I couldn't get Star Wars books literally anywhere else. And you know, when you're like a kid buying books, like, you know, I could only get my parents to buy me like, you know, 4 or 5 novels at a time. Like, and you know, that would be all I would have for the whole summer, right? So
can I have the 11th book in the New Jedi Order? No, I haven't read the first 10, but who cares?
I know. Yeah. So I specifically remember when I bought this is like I was forced to put back like a couple novels because I mean these are expensive, right? They're pricey.
Yeah.
So my mom made me put back some novels instead. I don't have any idea what it was I put back, but I did take this home. This was the only one. The only visual dictionary, the only reference book I owned for like, God, 10 years or something like that. I mean, it was
dang.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I never really had him as a kid, and then same as you, Wes. Once Force Awakens hit, and I kind of started getting into all this stuff again, I started realizing, okay, what stuff do I dig? And for me, it was vehicles, right? I'm wearing my deconstructed X-wing shirt tonight, and pretty much all my facts I'm going to talk about tonight are vehicle stuff. And I was like, someone went through and figured out how these make-believe spaceships work. And I was just like, it's so fun and it's so interesting because someone had to say, okay, why did we make this? Oh, it looks cool. All right, so we take that, and then I have to somehow make it practical. I have to make an engine. And I think that's why people that like reference books, and especially vehicle reference books like me, really liked Solo a lot. Because I feel like the movie Solo is almost like a reference book as a film. Like, you're like, here's Han's blaster, but here's how we got it. And here's the ships, but this is coaxium. And this is the Falcon, but this is what it used to look like. You know, and it's kind of like all these things that, do you need to know these things? No, not at all. But it's a really fun way to see, one, the artist that put a lot of work in to make this universe, but it's also a way just to get, like Trev says in the chat right now, new and unique fiction. Like there's certain things like we're going to bring up that you won't know unless you read the reference book. And it's kind of a little fun additive, which makes me ask you guys a 2-part question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Wes, I want to start with you. Number 1, what's your favorite type of reference book? So an art book, a behind-the-scenes book, a tech manual, etc. And 2, do you prefer books that are written like in universe? So like this is made on Corellia, or do you prefer things like Bob Bonanza was the storyboard artist, you know, where they actually tell you how things are made?
Yeah. So. Okay, so my favorite of the reference books are the encyclopedias. So it's basically everything.
Pablo Hidalgo's things.
It's basically, there's a lot of character encyclopedias. They have character encyclopedias for the Clone Wars. They have it for Rebels. They have it for just like all the shows, and then also throughout the Skywalker saga. But those are my favorites because they are mostly in universe. So that's my answer to my second question there. I love the in universe stuff.
Well done.
So I want to know. I want to know the behind, not the necessarily behind the scenes stuff, but I want to know like the nitty gritty details of why a background character was standing with one leg up on the wall and just looking left and right. It's probably because his ankle hurts from being in a battle the day before, and you didn't know that because unless you read the reference book.
Love that.
Totally.
Corey, same question.
Yeah, I mean, I only own 4, right? So I think if I really got to choose and I actually invested these, and that's the other thing about reference books is like, it's probably a pretty niche market. I don't think a lot of people really collect a lot of reference books because they're pricey.
It's a specific thing.
They're expensive,
they
right?
are.
I mean,
Because they're really a lot of production. There's a lot of art and a lot of people
Right.
put the work into these.
yeah, it takes a long time to make it happen. So like, I mean, they all cost roughly $30 to $50, right? So like,
Right.
I think if I really got to choose and I was to start collecting them, I would probably collect the art books. I really like those. I also, funny enough, even though I'm not really super into like movie making stuff, I really enjoy the. Oh yeah, is it the Rise?
This is the Last Jedi
The
art
Last
book
Jedi art
right
book,
here.
yeah, I love those.
Folks, look how big these things
those are
are.
the sexiest one I think to actually keep on your coffee table. You can almost display them like they're so.
Yeah, there's that
nice.
thumbnail for you, Wes. You're welcome.
Yeah. But I think if I do like a lot of behind the scenes stuff too, like some of the movie making, especially the early days of Star Wars. Like it's so fun to watch the documentaries about the original trilogy because like it was such uncharted territory back then.
Anthony Daniels almost died of heat stroke, but we kept shooting. Like,
yeah, all the actors are like, yeah, we don't know what the hell we're doing out here. This movie's gonna suck. Like it's it's hilarious and
not going anywhere past the first episode 4 or episode 1, but they thought.
yeah, awesome. Charles, how about you? What's your poison and which side you like?
Yeah, so by far, I think art books are the things that I enjoy the most because of what I said earlier. I like seeing what things almost were. I like seeing where things came from, what were the initial ideas. And by far, my favorite art book that I have is this one here, which some of my stuff comes from tonight, which is the art of Episode 1.
I knew it was going to be Phantom Menace. I knew it was going to be Phantom
How
Menace.
could it not be? Look at the back. I'm going to show everyone. There's this like sketch of like
Jar Jar?
What?
Jar Jar.
That's the back cover.
That's
Like
the
we
back
need something
cover.
for the back cover, just anything.
That back
Here, let me
cover is
draw this.
only second to the novelization with Watto on the back.
Ugh.
But I love these books for that reason, and specifically Episode 1, because Episode 1 came at a time when Star Wars was already a massive sensation, so they saved everything. Like they knew they were making this book. They didn't know they were making a making of A New Hope book. And it was an entirely new era for the first time since the actual creation of Star Wars. So there's so much just cool, interesting, different stuff. So it's by far the favorite one that I own. But I will say, can I make a recommendation for people?
Yeah.
The biggest bang for your buck reference book, I think, is this one here, the Pablo Hidalgo Essential Reader's Companion.
Great
look
call.
how thick this thing is. It is granted, it has to do with obviously Legends books, but it takes you through the entire timeline, has endless information about all of those books. So if you are into Legends to any degree, this book is like an absolute must-have.
Yeah, and I would also say on that book specifically, if you're a person like me that has read maybe a little more canon, and you go back to Legends and it's a little harder to get in, but you want to know the stories, that Essential Reader's Companion is brilliant because it literally summarizes every single book in Legends. It tells you what are the main characters, what planets are they on, and what happens. So if you want to know what happens in the New Jedi Order, but you don't want to read all the books, it's pretty decent summaries. Like it's better than your Wikipedias. It's going to go through by the people that created the stuff and kind of tell you all these things. There's gorgeous art. Yeah, that's a great one. And again, the behind the scenes technical workings, I love that. I will say for myself, go ahead, Corey.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm a vehicle dude, as I said. This guy right here, I'm gonna be talking a lot tonight. The Star Wars Complete Vehicle Guide from DK is one of my favorites, and I've always loved the vehicles in Star Wars. I love X-Wings. I love speeders. Return of the Jedi was my favorite for years because I just loved the speeders. I just thought they were really cool. And I just love seeing the cross sections where they they cut the ship in half and you see what's going on. I think that art is so cool. And I will also say I love in universe a little more than behind the scenes because I also love when in the universe stuff gets really weird. Like there's a Star Wars propaganda book that I have that is written as a historical document of like we're looking at the Clone Wars and we're looking at the Galactic Civil War like we're in a history class. And here's what the propaganda posters would have been like. And things like that I always find so cool because what a gift as a writer to be able to pretend you're writing a historical document that like Reith Silas might find in the archives, like in Star Wars. I always think that's so fun and such a cool exercise.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Star Wars Smuggler's Guide, where it's it's like a bunch of like written documents from all these smugglers from over the years that keep adding on to this journal, and they have like these these funny quips and these different stories and Maz Kanata's in it and everything. So that was a really good purchase. The Smuggler's Guide.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
Something else that's really interesting about reference books that I don't think a lot of people realize is like they have to be retconned a lot. Reference books do,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the sort of intentional let's make this thing canon like conversation about reference books is relatively new. I mean, I know that was the intention of Disney when they bought when they purchased Star Wars and they announced, you know, the transition of Legends, the expanded universe becoming Legends and that sort of thing. But like it's really only even been like the last, I would even argue 5 to 6 years, 5 to 8 years, maybe even since like, you know, the episode 7 came out that like they really started to be super intentional about what they printed in reference books, right? You know, before that, it was just like whatever we want to say, we just make it up, right? And
this
like,
could be fun, right?
And like, it was very interesting prepping for this show, looking at my old 2006 book because a whole lot of the stuff is not like canon anymore. I mean, it's not the same. Like it's been changed. So like, in a weird way, the reference books are sort of like a live look at the ever-changing Star Wars timeline, which is really cool to think about. And to like see how this one thing was this one thing, and then it's been borrowed and used in this other way, and now it's got a new name and a new title, and now it makes sense for a different reason. And like, it's a really strong argument against what we talk about a lot on this show, is that canon is not the term that you think it is. It's not like this hard fact true thing. Like it's really is an ever changing, it's okay for things to be retconned experience, right? I mean, canon has to exist like that. Otherwise it's just trapped in this dead, you know, past, right? But reference books allow you to sort of see how things have changed over time. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I love especially it's kind of like when Rise of Skywalker came out. This isn't one of my things, and I want to get into our favorite facts here. But in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary, I remember when that came out, a lot of clickbait sites, who shall remain nameless, but rhyme with like, I don't know, Bleen Blant, would post things like, oh, Darth Revan bought into canon because Wes is holding that up right now. Look at that beautiful visual dictionary. Revan Squadron was like brought in as like one of the Sith battalions or whatever, and like oh, that's a thing. And you know what? Maybe that's confirming Revan, but also maybe a writer was like, hey, you know what's really cool? We should name it after some old legend Sith people as like an homage. So it's Corey, you're so right.
I know.
Take it with a grain of salt.
The question when it comes to reference books is not, is it canon? The question is, can it be canon? Because like I think
how canon is it?
Yeah. Exactly. Because reference books, like they exist in this really unique place in Star Wars. And like sometimes they have to be changed and retconned. And I think some of the examples that we're even going to talk about here in a few minutes are you know, going to highlight that really.
Yeah. So you know what, let's jump right into it. So we got a bunch of images to show, and we'll be describing those for your audio folks. But I'm going to start off because I didn't have digital images for my picks. So I'm going to go through my little facts I want to share with you guys because I want your reactions. And Charles, my theme for tonight is especially for you because I love you and I know you've had a hard month. It's all episode 1 facts, everyone. So
nice.
All my stuff is out of the Complete Vehicles Guide from our friends at DK. We'll see, because I reviewed this a while ago on the Star Wars Weekly Roundup, so it is still available. That's our little plug. So first thing I'm going to talk about is on page 23 for you following along in your hymnals at home.
Yes.
This is the Gungan sub. So the vehicle that Qui-Gon and Jar Jar and Obi-Wan take out of Oda Gunga up to the surface. Fun fact that you find out from the reference book: the cargo containers in the Gungan sub are Naboo made, which confirms there is consistent trade between the Naboo and the Gungans. So they are two economies that rely on each other for trade. And I was reading that and I was like, for some reason when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, they haven't talked to the Naboo and the Gungans in forever. There's been like years and years of just, you know.
Yeah. Doesn't Padme like when she meets Jar Jar? Isn't she like, aren't you a Gungan? Like, as if she's never seen a Gungan before. So
but nope. There's been trade for years, and that's how they make their vehicles.
Nice.
Fun fact. There you go.
That is a fun fact.
That is a fact, and it's fun.
The more you know.
My next one, Charles, of course, you know I had to do it to you. It's Pod Racers. This has all the pods from the Boot to Eve Classic. And I want to ask you guys a question on the spot. Who do you think has the Pod Racer with the fastest top speed possible? Corey, start with you. Who do you think it is?
Oh man,
Top of your head.
I can't name that many of them. Maybe that lizard, the lizard looking one. You know, it looks like an alligator. What's that guy's name?
Oh, with the giant snout?
Yes, the snout guy.
Dud Bolt.
Yeah, that's him.
Deadbolt.
It's Deadbolt.
Okay.
That's him.
Okay, you think
I
it's
know my
Deadbolt?
pod racers.
Yeah, I've
All
got
right.
you, Charles.
Wes, we'll go to you. Then we'll end with the master. So, Wes, who do you think has the fastest pod?
Let's see.
This is top speed, fastest top speed.
I want to say Toy Dampener.
Toy Dampener. Okay.
Is it is that person? She has the last. She has the last, the slowest one, doesn't she?
Charles, who do you think?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say it's Team Toe.
Team Toe.
Galeys.
All right, Be Nasty in the chat puts one for Gasgano. Y'all, this is the most tragic fact of all. Because it's Ben Quadraneros.
No way.
It
has
was
a
the
top
fastest
speed.
when it blew up.
And it blew
Yeah,
up
it
at the
blew
starting line.
Maybe that's
Five-
why.
584 miles an hour max speed. Fastest of any pod racer, and it blew up at the starting
Good
line.
God.
So let it be known,
Jeez,
Ben
can you-
Quadraneros would have beaten the chosen one in a pod race.
Can you
Oh,
imagine? Can you imagine going 500 miles an hour in an open air like dune buggy? Like what the hell? That is I've been over 100 in a car before, like 120 in a.
Yeah, and it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. 500 is like.
I don't think Ben Quadraneros even had goggles on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please have
Naked face
goggles
to the
on.
wind.
Tear your eyeballs out of its sockets. It's ridiculous.
So is Ben Quadraneros canonically the most fearsome being in the galaxy? Discuss.
Well, we don't know. Maybe there were races before because you had to somehow qualify for
Qualify,
the Boot to Eve
yeah.
Classic,
That's
right?
true.
So maybe he just kicked butt in the
I don't know.
qualifier.
How did Anakin qualify? He just paid his way in.
Money!
That's
Only
right.
money!
Did Sebulba also sabotage his pod racer?
Possibly?
question.
But yeah, so there you go. That's one. My final episode one fun fact, of course, my favorite ship, maybe in all time, the Naboo N1 Starfighter, one of the most gloriously designed ships ever. This is page 42, if you're all following along. What I liked about this is that the Naboo N1 Starfighter has a customized engine. It burns hotter than normal, so it will burn clearer and more cleaner to help the environment because it's Naboo, and the heat sinks, the way they're designed, combine art and engineering. And if you're a fan of the Queen's Peril, Queen's Shadow books, you'll know that art is very valued on Naboo. So that fighter, even when they're on Coruscant, they're putting off less pollution than any other fighter in the skies. And all that you will know if you get DK's Star Wars Complete Vehicles Reference Guide. So those are my fun facts for the night.
So the N1 Starfighter is the Tesla.
It's a
It
Tesla
is.
of the skies.
It is essentially
Okay.
the Tesla.
Okay.
That is the car that Elon Musk shot into space and is at Mars or something. Remember that? Remember when that happened?
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
there's a
we live in
robot
a dys-
guy.
we
It's
live in a dystopian
somebody's
nightmare.
dead body that's in that car, by the way. He killed somebody, and that's somebody that's up there. And he's like,
It's the
that's his
clone
last-
of Jeffrey Bezos.
Well, that is quite the tangent. I think on that, let's just kind of randomly round robin through
Yeah.
these images. I have a whole bunch of them. There's like 20 images I have
We
saved
got a slideshow.
here.
So yeah, join in.
Let me just pick one, and we'll just kind of go from there. So here's the first one. Whose is this?
Ah, that is mine. So this is.
Don't forget to describe the image for our audio listeners.
Okay, so let me pull to the book here. All right, so this is a case of coaxium. So coaxium was mainly shown in Solo, a Star Wars.
It looks just like the real thing. Like, no, I would believe it. It's that good.
So one thing that I thought that was interesting when I was reading so Corey, if you could hit my camera here,
I love this one.
the ultimate Star Wars guide. So this is supposed to be the end all be all, right, of the encyclopedias, but there's obviously going to be more coming out because, but this one itself has characters, locations, technology, and vehicles. So it has like pretty much everything that you could want. If you want to
If
look
you're going to
up
buy one, this is the one.
this is really good one. So the reference for coaxium says Before the dawn of hyperspace travel, space mariners observed Purgill creatures breathing in Clozon 36 gas before jumping away into space, moving faster than the speed of light. Upon examining dead Purgill, they find deposits of coaxium in their organs. So these deposits are a metabolic product of Clozon 36 and are what allowed the Purgill to travel through hyperspace. Coaxium is later discovered in natural deposits on worlds such as Kessel. An extremely valuable substance, coaxium is highly volatile and must be refined to render it less explosive and more stable.
Wait, less explosive. I like that.
And more stable.
Does that mean that if you punch a Purgill in just the right way, they'll blow up? Like, have you ever seen those? You ever seen those horrific videos of a beached whale that's been on the beach for like a week?
Yeah.
And like the researchers are trying to deal with it, and they poke it too hard, and it blows up like a freaking cannon.
But
like
coaxium.
the coaxium. Yes, all the gas and the guts go everywhere. It's disgusting.
But I love that.
I like how they brought in the Purgill from Rebels and tied that into coaxium. So that was really cool.
That's cool.
Awesome. I
Great
never
pick,
knew
Wes.
those factoids are backed up too in some of the Thrawn stuff and some of the Rebels episodes too, because I think they were at a facility at one point where they were mining the Clozon gas, and it
When we met them.
connection to the Purgills. Yeah, so they took that factoid and ran with it.
Love that.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
All right,
Cool.
this is not at all related to the show, but Wes, you have to show us your T-shirt you're wearing, dude.
Okay,
I think I know what this
Oh,
is, and you
yes.
said you were
I
going
know
to tell
what
us
it is,
earlier.
Yeah,
This looks fantastic.
Let me stand up. So I got this shirt. I was walking through Comic Palooza in Houston on Saturday, and I had just like hammered an Americano, had like 4 shots of espresso in it. So I was all caffeinated and I was ready to buy something. So I saw this shirt hanging up on the wall and I had to get it. So if you can see, it's a Alderaan weather report.
Oh my god!
Monday is 72, Tuesday is 74, Wednesday is 15,000 degrees, and Thursday through Friday is nothing at all.
Oh my god. It hurts my soul.
It looks like a forecast on a
It's
news
so
news
dark,
program.
dude.
That's
Oh my
so
God.
dark.
I thought that was what that was. I was like, you have to tell us what this shirt is about.
That's my planet, Wes.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Also, as we're talking, I'm about to go add the Essential Atlas to my Amazon wish list because I realize I haven't bought that yet, but I will use the Utini affiliate link.
please do. Oh yeah,
Because I don't get Alderaan when it's
that's
not
another
blown
thing-
up, Wes.
That's another thing to talk about is we do have we have also reference books on our website. If you actually search for reference books in the search bar, I believe it will work and show you a good number. Like I think it will show you a lot of reference books if you do that.
Corey, here's the thing. I did that for you guys. So I typed in reference on the Utini website and I pulled in the exact link that's in the description. So if you click on the link in the description below, then it will pull up all the reference books from the Utini's website that we have cataloged and summarized and everything that you can look at.
Wes,
Nice.
you're so good at things.
Nice.
I'm telling my boss what I was doing at work today.
And I do believe that we have series pages for a lot of these reference books now
Yep.
too.
Yes, we do.
If you want to see like all the visual dictionaries in one place, you can check that out too. So I don't know why we've never talked about reference books on the show before. It's like a huge part
That's
of
why
Star
we're
Wars.
here, baby.
All right, let's move on. We got a lot of images to get through here. Here is one here. This one looks super interesting. Charles, I think this one's yours.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So I will say there is a small theme that runs through some of my images, and it's Charles's stupid game. I'm just taking, it's a spinoff of Eric's stupid game. This one in particular, I'm curious. A lot of this is concept art for characters that was done early on. Who do you think this is an image that was a concept for?
Queen Amidala.
Queen Amidala, Corey says.
All right, we have to describe the image
and for
first of all.
reference,
You have to describe the
I should
image.
describe it. So this is a horrific appearing, all red clad, pale, black-eyed, just.
She
beast.
looks
That's
exactly
what I'm going
like
to describe.
Mother Talzin.
It's Mother Talzin.
It looks
That's
exactly.
who it is, yeah.
It is Mother
so-
Talzin.
So it is Mother Talzin, but fun fact, pull the image back up, Corey. The way that this is actually concept art for Darth Maul.
Yes.
Episode 1.
Yup.
And in the
I love
bottom
that.
left, you can see a small image that's even somehow scarier. And that first image on the bottom left is one that Lucas told one of the concept art
Ian McCaig.
designers, Ian McCaig, that's right,
Oh, that's
to
crazy.
draw his worst nightmare as a concept for a Sith witch. And that's what he drew. And it actually scared George Lucas to the point that he said, draw your second worst nightmare. That was my primary image. The big one.
It is
that
pretty. It was like
later
the
It's
like the ring.
terrifying.
Yes, it is like the ring. It's like something out of the Grudge or something like that. But so he came back with this second image, this big one, that then was later reused to be Mother's Hausen.
Wow.
And that's what I love about Star
That
Wars
is
too.
a
Is
fun
that
fact, Charles?
dude, like,
Well, thanks.
there's so many things in these older reference books, like you're saying, Corey, right? Some of the stuff is canon, then it's not. They use so much old stuff and new stuff. Like Ian McCaig, who designed that, Charles, designed Chancellor Lena So in the High Republic. And like a lot of the High Republic stuff they're using now for like the Republic long beam ships and stuff is based on old concept art that wasn't used.
Yeah.
Reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
Come on. I
right.
love that. Great pick, Charles.
Okay, I think
Thank you.
I have one of my images is next. I'll switch over there here in just a second. This is pretty wild. So this book right here, the Star Wars Visual Encyclopedia. It's another encyclopedia. I'm pretty sure this has everything after The Rise of Skywalker. I'm pretty sure. I can't tell from just the cover images, but
Yeah, because Kylo Ren is on there, so like
Yeah.
it's at least
yeah,
some
it's-
sequel
it's-
stuff.
It's definitely sequel stuff, but I don't know if it's after The Rise of Skywalker or not. I can't remember. But fun fact, I did not know I owned this book until we were prepping for the show. I literally heard the crisp pages opening. It never been opened before. I have no idea. I've like never. I didn't recognize it at all when I was going through. I was like, "Whoa, this book is awesome! I didn't know I had this." So I don't know if someone sent it to me or if I bought it like on a whim. But clearly, I've never opened it before. But this is a very interesting. I've never seen this in a reference book before. Like the encyclopedias nowadays are really, really cool. And this has a timeline in here. It looks really, really rad. There's this huge timeline image.
Oh, wow. That's the second coolest timeline I've ever seen after the UTV timeline.
It is the second coolest timeline. And it's cool. It's got these little
Nice touch, Eric.
screenshots from like the Clone Wars TV show and Rebels. It looks really awesome. And but the first word I saw on this timeline is this image right here. It says every single like little picture has a little caption. Like it says, a good day's trading for Jawas. It says Owen Lars and Luke Skywalker buy 2 droids, R2D2 and C3PO on Tatooine. Mission accomplished. The Death Star plans are stolen. So like this little quip, right? So here's the screen cap. This is the first thing I noticed when I opened this. It says patricide. Kylo Ren slays his father on Solo, and I just opened it to this. Literally never opened this book before. This is the first page I came to, and I thought that was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. This is patricide.
I feel like I can hear that in the Halo announcer's voice. Like, patricide.
Headshot. Yeah. It's absolutely
Rebel kill.
absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, not really a fun fact, but sometimes these books are pretty funny. So there's that.
They have a lot of fun. There's a lot of good tongue-in-cheek stuff in a lot of the reference books. Because, I mean, if you're writing hundreds of pages and thousands of facts, at a certain point, you got to have one for you.
All right, here's the next one. Wes, this might be one of yours.
Yes. So this is from, let me pull out the correct book. So this is from the one that I already held up. This is from The Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary. And that is a part of the Sacred Jedi Texts
The Sacred Jedi texts!
that Luke thought was still in the sacred tree or hut or whatever. And but Rey had
Vernetti
secretly snatched those books and hit him on the Millennium Falcon. So here is let me give a cam here. So here's what the book looks like. Showed it earlier.
Yeah.
Let's get that glare off. But there is a whole spread of what the Sacred
wow.
Jedi texts look like.
That's cool.
And there, cool one that I was reading was this one where my finger is right here. It has 2 spines on it, so there's 2 volumes to where like they added on to it. So there was like double spine suggests second volume expanded to twice its original size during compilation. But
They had expanded editions in the universe.
especially back then too, right?
It was the ancient Jedi text equivalent of the steel case box set.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you had to know. They're like, well, if you look here, when Darth Bane kicked that helmet, he actually broke his toe.
So the book that I think this was opened right before she saw the holocron, but this particular spot that's on that picture, Corey, if you can go back to it on the screen share, is a hand-drawn phases of Mortis solution to the
my God.
Master.
Oh,
So that's what that is. That's showing on there.
Mortis.
And I was like, oh my God, they stuck Mortis into the sacred Jedi text on the last movie of the Skywalker saga.
That is
and I
crazy.
was like,
incredible.
I gotta add that in there. So yeah, that was one of the cool.
Yeah.
I would pay an exorbitant amount of money. Like I'm talking like I would consider dropping like $10,000 on the chance for a full 24 hours to just walk around the warehouse where all of the props are stored.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Dude.
like seriously,
Yeah.
like I would pay. I don't care what it costs. I'll take out a second loan if I have to. Like
Well,
like it's just
you can
like,
kind of do that at Skywalker Ranch or not
Skywalker Ranch. Rancho Obi-Wan.
Rancho Obi-Wan. Yeah.
I don't think you can like thumb through stuff though, and it's a lot
Not
of
the
it's just
props,
toys and
though.
stuff. But like the actual props, like this stuff is nuts that they went so
Yeah.
far. Like we've seen a little bit of this in the behind the scenes stuff of like just how far they go, and like, we have no idea. Most of it's not even talked about because it's on screen for a millisecond, right? So
But they do it. But they put the work in, and the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary, especially for those of us that like, you know, if you didn't care for Rise of Skywalker as much as other films, that's totally legit. This visual dictionary, like Wes, that is a perfect example of how deep that specific one goes. Like they knew they were ending the saga. They put everything in it.
And just like you said, Corey, like something that we see on screen for a split second, it's detailed in these books. So you're like, what was that? And you see it, and it's still a split second every time you see it, but you're like, that's got to mean
it's
something.
still a cool
and you go
thing.
back and look.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, God, these are great. This is what I liked doing this episode. I was like, I'm gonna learn some stuff.
This is gonna be a long one. We have a lot of images to get through, so just bear with us, guys.
We got time. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. You're fine.
All right, this one kind of spoke to me because I'm a doctor. Charles, I think we get a kick out of this too. So, and this is from my older 2006 visual dictionary, right? It is on the page. It's on the pages from Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I forgot I was going to tell you guys this. This is super cool. In this visual dictionary, the authors are very interesting, and I don't think I've ever known this. But it says the book was written by David West Reynolds, and he did all the writing for episodes 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 4 through 6. So he wrote everything except for Revenge of the Sith. Guess who wrote all the Revenge of the Sith facts? My boy James Luceno is responsible for writing all the Revenge of the Sith stuff. And like I was reading through some of it, and like, you know, the rest of the book reads like the classic like visual dictionaries do. It's really factual and kind of to the point. All the Revenge of the Sith stuff is like heavy writing. Like the way that things are written. Like here's the R2-D2 page. It says versatile operator. Yeah.
Yeah, he was writing Labyrinth of Evil and Rise of the Dark Lord Vader at that point, right? So like, he's like, I know it.
There's Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, and over here it says Secret Fraternity, right? When it's talking about the Imperial Guard, Secret Fraternity.
Ooh,
so like,
we need to rename our Slack channel.
I know. it's like the writing is really, really good.
That's really cool.
Like just the text
really
around
cool.
it. And I'm like, man, I didn't know James Luceno wrote any reference books. But anyway, so this is on the page that has to do with Darth Vader when Anakin is cut down by Obi-Wan on Mustafar, right? So and this is it's never in the films, but this is a medical kit that the Emperor's little recovery team took with them to like work on Darth Vader to get him like stabilized so they could get him to Coruscant, right? And I thought this was super fascinating because it's like fairly accurate to what like a crash cart would be in the hospital. Like there is see that bottom left says adapter for pressure shield generator. So this is like pressor support for like blood pressure being super, super low. There's cardiovascular monitors. Crash carts have those types of things. There's an injector handle, which is like to administer drugs. There's a respirator. There's little vials of Bacta. There's a wireless defibrillator in this. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, it looks like a defibrillator kit that would be like on a wall, like at a restaurant or a a public
Wow.
place. So I was like, I've never seen this before. This is super medical. So I thought it was pretty rad.
Lord Vader, I went to the Burger King and got the defibrillator.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's like
That's
almost
really
factually accurate too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
some
It's like,
validity to it.
It was pretty good. Like I stumbled on this page. I was like, oh, this is gonna be dumb. I'm gonna share this. But then I looked at it. I was like, this is actually pretty good. So it's like pretty well thought
That's
out.
a
Like,
classic example too of something that had 0 screen time.
yes.
But now you know that it was there and they potentially used it, and it's just fun
Right.
to know that.
yes.
Now,
like,
I will never now. Every time I watch Revenge of the Sith now, I will think about that crash cart thing.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, hey, I wonder if he's using
right.
that thing.
I wonder if like I need to go back and watch the end of Revenge of the Sith to see maybe one of the clone troopers are carrying a little case.
Oh,
Like
probably, yeah.
maybe they are. Like because like. I mean, somebody put a lot of time into this. Like somebody like thought about what's in a regular, like a real medical kit, and
Yeah.
like then they designed all the
someone's
pieces.
job.
Like
That was their job.
literally hours went into this stupid little case design that we never even see. So like, I don't know, cool
That's
stuff,
so
man.
cool.
That's what their visual dictionaries are for.
Ugh.
All right,
All right, what's next?
Charles,
Let's keep going.
I
What's
think
the next great thing?
I know.
That just makes me think though, whoever put hours into that thing, do you think they're mad about speculum hands making it on screen?
Probably.
All right. So this next image, this is still part of my stupid game. This basically looks like an old decrepit lizard with like big furry eyebrows, and let's call it a I don't know, a chin patch. And I'm curious, who do y'all think this was concept art for?
Oh, man. It looks
So
like what's the guy with the cane lightsaber?
It looks
from?
like
Sanube. I was gonna yes.
Yeah.
This completely looks like it's like Sanube and Yoda and Doctor Strange. It's like the triumvirate.
The clothes are definitely Doctor Strange.
It's an alternate timeline.
That's it. So that's my
All right.
guess. It's the
Any-
Terra Sanube Yoda Doctor Strange love child.
Okay, close, but no. This was initially going to be Boss Nass. Believe it or not.
No way.
He was not. Thank you. I
Very
assume
good,
that was
Harry.
Wes. I couldn't tell. Oh, there.
Definitely
Okay.
not.
And that guy that we just saw would not have been able to pull that off. So
No.
it's crazy
He would've
that
had
they
an
went so
aneurysm.
far. It's crazy that they went that far from the one of the early concept designs.
Yeah, well, usually when you make like a patriarchal or a king like figure, you gotta make them fat. Because back in the day, when you were a big fat guy, it
Yep.
means you had a lot of money, you had a lot of wealth because you were able to eat and you weren't able
Exactly.
to starve.
You would
yourself.
eat tomatoes with the juices running down your chin while your son was killed in the field.
I just watched it. It's still weird.
Oh my god! I do have to say though, this looks like a more accurate representation of what I estimate an old Gungan to look like, instead of fat Boss Nass,
Yeah,
who literally looks
I
like no
actually
other
buy
Gungan.
that.
Yeah, it
All
doesn't
of the
look like
Gungans
a-
are the same
right?
age.
I know they are. It's because Boss Nass eats them when they become a certain age. All right, let's move on.
What's next?
All right, I think this is another one of yours, Charles.
Okay, yes. So this is an image actually from the aforementioned Jedi versus Sith Essential Guide to the Force. And this was written by Ryder Wyndham. And that's cool because Ryder Wyndham actually wrote for things that were not reference books too, similar to Lucino that you just brought up. Like he wrote, what is it? The Life and Legend of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah, all those books. It's a whole line of books. There's one about
yeah.
Darth Vader too, I think. Like
Yeah, it's like the Rise and Fall, I think, of Darth
Yeah, yeah.
Vader. But he did this reference book, and then it was illustrated by Chris Trevis and Tommy Lee Edwards. Now, why is this image that you're seeing cool? For those of you who are listening to it, this is showing Anakin and Asajj Ventress crossing lightsabers with a big like blood moon in the background, but they're both using red lightsabers. So where in the world is this image from? This is a depiction of one of the episodes of Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Oh, right, because he's got the
So-
exposed arm.
Exactly. So there are actually in this book, in this essential guide to the Force, there are some of the most breathtaking pieces of art. I am telling you, if you
Wow.
can pick this up, do it. The art is next level, and it's redepictions of things that we have seen before
Wow.
in other styles, other, media. Like it's incredible. Like I just opened this book, I promise you, to a random page. So those of you that are watching live, look at this two-page spread.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Like, and this is a common occurrence in this book. So let me show you the cover.
Jedi versus
Sith, Essential Guide to the Force. It's Legends, so a lot of it has been retconned, but I'm telling you, the art is just ridiculous.
This is what I'm talking about. You get to see the timeline like change in real time, right? Because this is crazy. This was probably like concept art for something else, right?
Yeah, Dartalon. There we go.
I mean, every page is just ridiculously good. So I can't recommend that highly enough.
Yeah,
love that.
That's fantastic.
Bring on the next one. Yeah, the art. God, these art pictures are just gorgeous.
Okay, here's another one. This is one of mine. I thought was pretty cool. So this is from. This is also from. I think most of my images are from the 2006 visual dictionary, because that's what I've spent the most time with. This is about Jango and Boba Fett. I thought this was cool, and also sort of a look at like how retconning happens, because the text that's on this page is super interesting. Let me just let me read it to you, because like this is very much all about the Mandalorian culture and stuff, which is pretty rad.
Ooh, yes, please.
It says, so Jango and Boba Fett, the Mandalorian way lives on in the bond between Jango Fett and his son Boba. Let's see here. It says, like father, like son. In Mandalorian tradition, fathers were responsible for training their sons in combat skills. At age 13, boys had to face the trials of manhood. Although these rites could be fatal, actual deaths were extremely rare because candidates were so well prepared. The close father-son bond, built on respect, trust, and discipline, produced highly capable and confident individuals. So, like, there's just all this, like, random factoids about Mandalorian culture on this page, and it's a Jango Fett page, right? So, I don't really think that we would see this in a modern encyclopedia of, like,
probably not
all these facts about Mandalorian culture, because there's a bit of a question if Jango is really Mandalorian or not, right? So,
right.
It was cool. There's all this Mandalorian stuff on this page. I thought that was interesting.
But they just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually calls him a Spartan apartment. It says Jango maintains a Spartan apartment on Camino.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Yeah. Oh, love that stuff. All right, moving on. What do we got?
Let's pick another one. Oh, here's another one of your images of Anakin, Charles.
Spoilers. Oh, yeah. So those were just several that were depicting the same thing. So you can kind of
One thing I didn't say about that Ventress Anakin thing you posted, Charles, is that they're really drawn like Hayden. Like that's Hayden Christensen Anakin. So it's a much more realistic depiction than what you get in Gendy. And I love the Gendy art style, as you talked about on Legends Look Back a couple weeks ago. But like.
All right, we gotta talk about this in a second.
All right, I'm sorry, everyone. We just saw something that stopped me in my tracks. But I love that you can get the realistic depiction of like some of the animated characters in the movie styles. Very fun. All right,
Charles,
let's go to that one.
What the hell is this?
within the context of this episode, the picture you've just pulled up is the equivalent of someone lighting a bag of dog poop on fire on your porch. Who is this concept art
Jar Jar
for?
Binks, bro.
Jar Jar.
It's a
Jar
donkey.
Jar Binks, but it is for sure a jackass. And I wanted to bring this up. There are actually several others that I have.
He's fully nude. He is fully nude.
He's fully nude. Corey, I don't know how easy it is. You can probably tell which other ones are also Jar Jar concept art.
What the hell? Look at this. Sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in on his crotch. I was trying to look at this ugly looking dude down here. Like, look at this guy.
That is still
creeping in the corner.
Yeah. So he does. He looks kind of like a donkey, but like I don't know, made out of mud.
He honestly, to bring it back to Sinube, his face looks a little like Sinube's eventual face.
Yeah, it does actually. But
I see Sinube everywhere.
Are these other ridiculous images also Jar Jar?
Probably. Pull them up, and I'll tell you yes or no.
It is weird to think that the Jar Jar we got is like the tamest version.
Yeah. Okay. This one.
What in the hell is this?
So what you're seeing, guys, this looks to me, the best way I can describe this, even though I'm not really talking detail here, is like a member of the Chuck E. Cheese band that got addicted to drugs.
Oh my God.
It's like a purple mouse-ish type character holding
Giant
a green
nose.
gun and a
There's
red gun
Thor's
that look
tail.
like they should shoot bubbles. So what is this?
Is this
What
Elon Sleaze Bagano?
No.
Is he still in Death
What the
Sticks?
hell
So
is
this is the one image that never actually made it to screen, but I was going through my episode
don't
1
say.
Art of Episode 1 book, and this says, the caption says, big-nosed alien conceptual design. Lucas saw a picture of a South American porcupine and wanted to use a variation of it, ...
George.
with ray guns. Which
George.
It's
George,
perfect. It's
buddy.
the perfect snapshot of where George Lucas's head was when it came to episode 1. He would just see something random and be like, "Oh yeah, let's do something based on that." There, like,
look at this
give it a
ugly ass
gun.
critter. Let's make it. Let's give it weapons.
How did you come across a picture of a South American porcupine? I've lived 28 years on this earth and I've never accidentally
Also,
just come across that.
This was probably like what 1996, 1997. There was no high-speed internet where
Probably.
you could just Google stuff. This was he sought this out
All right, yes.
specifically.
Here's another
Yes.
ugly one that is definitely Jar Jar Binks.
Yes, so that was on the Jar Jar Binks, which looks
Yeah.
more like a toad, if you will, than.
No, it's the
it's
general
like
from Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's who that is.
Well, actually, yeah,
That's
it
who
did
that
hit
is.
on that, didn't it?
God, that's exactly
It
who
did.
it is. They did it.
hides in
They
one of
did
those
it.
I didn't even
R2
realize that.
It's from the Droids episodes, and it's like
The small
I am
one.
the general.
Yeah.
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 That is
They
hilarious.
reused it.
Lord.
Guys,
That-
this is what I'm talking about.
that
Every
entire
reference
arc-
book has something that they will use in the future.
That entire arc sucks. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Dude, in episodes 10 through 12,
Yeah,
we're going to
it
get
wasn't
that little
good.
drug-addicted porcupine with ray guns.
Gregor.
We really
Is it
might.
Gregor? Gregor is the only redeeming quality from. Is it Gregor?
Gregor's
or no.
great. Yeah, Gregor is the
It's
clone
Gregor,
from
yeah,
that
yeah.
arc.
Him, yeah.
Oh
All right,
my
all right.
god.
Let me get rid of this donkey image.
So-
okay.
All right, let's do a couple more and get on out of here. What else?
All right.
What else we
I
got?
have a couple more from my book. This one is on a
Excellent.
page about Order 66, and it's got like a clone commander. Looks kind of like Cody a little bit, riding this
Yeah, a little bit.
ugly ass creature that I've literally never seen before in my life. And it's talking
is
about
that?
I don't know, it's this slug looking thing with a whole bunch of legs. Like I don't want to ride that. Like I imagine I don't know if you can see it, but like I'm not sure if you can see it, but like in the image, like look at his armor right here. It's like got muck all over his shins and stuff. Like is this what happens when you ride these things? You just get gross
my
like
God.
alien ooze all over your pants. Like
The slug looks like those things. You know those? There's like microscopic organisms that can like exist in space and
Yes.
like I forget what they're called, but that's what it looks like.
yeah, but
Um,
this page talks about how clone troopers like use like the environment to their advantage, and like if there are creatures that you can ride, they'll do it.
Does it say
God.
where this creature's from? Because it looks like
Yeah,
something
Felucia.
from Felucia to me.
Yeah, it says
Oh, it is
Felucia.
Felucia.
Boom.
Yeah, right
Because
there.
of the color.
But that-
Nice job, Charles.
No, but take
It's called
that
a
into account
Felucian
too.
ground
Like,
beetle.
okay, but take that into account. Like there are with these art books and these reference books, the fact that I genuinely didn't know where this was from, but there are these stylistic elements we can't even put our fingers on necessarily. But you're like, oh, that feels like this other thing I've seen,
Yes.
and that's pretty
Yes.
cool.
That
There
is
it
really
is.
cool. Yeah.
This fact on here says pro legs offer steady locomotion. Just in case you didn't know.
Okay.
Oh,
but
and
not
Caleb did
fast.
say in the chat, they look like either water bears, or tatargarods. That is the
take
animal
your
I was
word
thinking
for it.
about.
It says
But they're
tater
Felucian.
goods.
They're Felucian.
All right, here's another cool, really tall, like 2-page spread of the elite clones. This is one of my favorite pages as a kid. In fact, it's pretty worn when I opened it because like I must have like just stared at this a lot because I always loved the clone trooper armor. And you got like the elite clones and stuff, another classic kind of depiction in these books.
Yeah,
all
those
right,
are.
what-
Oh, hey,
let's-
look in the chat. Emma just ordered the Essential Reader's Companion.
nice.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
Nice
nice,
job.
great choice.
Right.
Okay, this is from the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia New Edition. So I'm sure there were plenty of them, but this is a new edition. It came out about a year ago. But this is Oppo Rancisis, part of my Jedi draft.
That's right, he is.
Team
So-
geriatrics.
So one thing that I thought was very interesting about Oppo Rancisis that I did not know.
Oh, he
So,
looks like he's asking you
I
to kill him.
well, I did know he's an excellent strategist, whatever. But the first part up at the top says dense hair deters biting of this particular species. So he grew his hair long so he wouldn't get bitten. but
By what?
he has fingertip claws. I don't know, by an enemy. But, but the main thing that I didn't know was he has a second pair of hands that are hidden underneath his cloak.
What?
What?
What? All right, hold on a damn minute. We gotta go back to this image.
There's other hands?
Where?
Yes.
I was
They're hidden.
uncomfortable
They're hidden,
enough
Corey.
with him.
Second
and this
pair of
has made it
hands hidden
worse.
underneath cloak.
I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking like little T-Rex claws that are like don't really serve a function? They're just like in
I'm
the
guessing
way.
full hands. I want to see
So-
like Opera Rancisis undon his robe, and then the second pair of hands comes out like an organic General Grievous.
I absolutely
Rancisis-
do not want to see Rancisis ungown his robe. 100%
Rancisis
not
is
on my
adept.
list.
He's adept with his green-bladed lightsaber, but prefers to use his highly developed force powers for combat. He is a formidable foe in unarmed combat, using his 4 arms and long tail to make surprising strikes at his opponent.
This guy, he has 4 arms and a
4
tail
arms,
and a
nobody knew
giant
it.
beard. So he grows his hair so he doesn't get bitten.
Correct.
He has fingertip claws, and he hides his second pair of hands all the
Now,
time.
you wish you would have taken him early in the draft now, don't you?
Terrifying.
He
Oh
hid
my
that at
God.
the
Terrifying.
Wes. He hid those hands at the combine, man. Come on, that's messed up. Oh
right.
my gosh.
All right.
All right, what else we
Charles,
got?
I think we got one of yours here. We only got like 3 more images here.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah, this
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this one up. This is from The Art of Star Wars Rebels, which no one has talked about yet. Pretty awesome book. Obviously, if you're a fan of that series, it was by Daniel Wallace with the foreword written by Dave Filoni himself. And this particular image really caught my eye because I was like, wow, they went pretty far with this Krennic design. And they actually supposedly had a full working model of the Krennic character for the show, even though he never actually made it into the show itself. And so
Wow.
that factoid just made me question what kind of storylines were on the cutting room floor that they just didn't have time for,
Yeah.
because a lot of us love Rogue One, love the character of Orson Krennic, and I mean, seeing him in there in the mix with Thrawn and
Yeah.
with the Rebels characters, I mean, imagine that. So maybe we'll still get that story one day.
Hopefully.
I imagine it would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, well, because we get a lot of that in Thrawn Treason a little bit. Not as much as we would have liked, but there are those scenes between Tarkin and Thrawn and Krennic. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing
I mean,
there was probably
maybe
at
it
least
was that.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rad. That would have been great if he would have. And I love seeing how many character models they make for the animated shows, too, in the behind the scenes. Like, we got him. They made Dryden Voss famously in Clone Wars, which we're kind of still waiting to see if he shows up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of
I
time
know.
to make those.
It's such these experiences these books are so eye opening of just like how huge and Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
we have a
Oh,
Star
they
Wars
didn't-
podcast, and looking at a visual dictionary makes me feel like I know literally nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all probably feel like me.
yeah,
Well, and honestly, what really helps with these is any single time that we ever have the moment of like, oh my gosh, they clearly just made this without thinking. They
No.
clearly just
I
threw
know.
this together.
I don't
no,
think
they have
I don't
never
I don't
done
think
that.
I don't think it's actually possible for that to happen. Like,
No.
like really. Yeah.
There's so much thought. It may not be the thoughts we want all the time, but the amount of time and man hours it takes to make every single of these pictures that never make it on screen is astounding.
All right, last 2
Ugh.
images here. Wes,
Let's
I think
do
this one is yours. It's Lor Santeca, right?
Lord
Is this-
Santeca.
Lor
Yes.
Santeca!
So we all know who Lord Santeca is. He shows up for, I don't know, a minute and a half in The Force Awakens and is immediately murdered. So, but
Patricide.
but we get the Santecas from Light of the Jedi,
High
right?
Republic?
So
Yep.
we don't know if they're related, but they could be. It could just be like Smith, like Skywalker, but probably not.
Interesting take.
So,
right.
But one of the things that was in the visual dictionary here, we got the Ultimate Star Wars Guide. Again, one of the best reference books that I own. Says Explorer Lor Santeca is not a Jedi, but he believes in their ideals as a member of the Church of the Force. So he is put on trial. I'm sorry. Let me start where this gets after. After the Battle of Endor, Lor Santeca assists Luke Skywalker in the search for long-forgotten Jedi knowledge. He is imprisoned on Cato Nemoidia after breaking into the Nemoidians' vaults and examining a relic of significance to Force wielders. He is put on trial and due to be executed. but General Organa and Poe Dameron rescue him. However, Santeca is kidnapped by First Order agent Terex, who ejects him into space.
Yep.
Poor Santeca is rescued by Black Squadron and brought to Dakar, where he disappoints Leia, confessing that he does not know where the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker, although given time, he may discover it. And then talks about how he has that little piece of the map that can lead to Luke Skywalker. So there's that little background story. Because we all, when we first saw The Force Awakens, we're like, who is this guy? Is he a Jedi? Is he somebody that we know? Have we ever seen him before? We're just like, oh my God, who is him? So you get a little bit of background on where he came from. Essentially.
And a lot of that is in the comics too, right?
It's in the Poe Dameron comic, which I also love about the reference books, because if you're not someone who works at a Star Wars company all the time and tries to read literally everything that we can, maybe you don't go back and read some of the comics and stuff. And these visual guides, especially the more recent ones, combine every medium. So they're going to tell you those comic stories. They're going to tell you the book stories, and they're going to make it just as important as the films. And the Lord Santeca, for a guy, again, like you said, Wes, has about a minute and a half. He's super rad and all the extra stuff, and I'm really glad they put that in the book. That's really cool.
All right, last image.
Last
here.
one.
And this one's pretty rad. It's just it's a 2-page spread all about Anakin, and this page is what made me. I was reading this page and I was like, holy shit, who wrote this? Like, it's really, really good. A lot of the text that's on this page is awesome. Like, first of all, we get Anakin's arm, which looks rad as heck in this picture. Yeah. Is this really cool golden black uncovered arm. It shows his arm. But I was reading this, and I got to read you a couple excerpts from this page because it's just really incredible writing. So it says, Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Knight. As the clone trooper has become the emblem for the Grand Army of the Republic, Anakin Skywalker, dashing pilot and audacious Jedi Knight, has become the symbol of the Jedi Order and the poster boy of the entire war effort. Like, holy crap. That is some heavy writing, dude.
That's cool.
James Luceno, man. And there's a couple other things on this page that are really good. There's this little tiny picture of Anakin and Padme in the bottom right, and it says Anakin hasn't. It's showing Anakin and Padme like when they're in their apartment together. It's in the bottom right over here. Let me see if I can zoom in some.
Oh yeah. I remember that scene.
Over there on the right. Yeah, the balcony scene where Anakin's pecs are kind of hanging out of his bathrobe. You know what I'm talking about?
And Padme is brushing her hair, even though she clearly has curly hair and doesn't need to brush it like that.
There's a great deal of sexual tension in that scene. But you know,
I feel it.
We don't have to go there. This says
not this episode.
Not this episode. We'll have a sex episode later. All right. Anakin hasn't seen Padme or Coruscant.
What else is up for instance is hiding into that room?
Join our Patreon. We'll see what happens.
Oh, my God. All right. This says, Anakin hasn't seen Padme or Coruscant in almost 5 months. Their forbidden marriage is yet another lie Anakin has had to maintain since the start of the Clone Wars. A secret he's reluctant to share, even with Palpatine, much less with Obi-Wan. Just really, really good writing. And then lastly, the last thing, which is really heartbreaking, the bottom right shows the battle on Mustafar between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It says, on Mustafar, Anakin's love for Padme and Obi-Wan mutates to hatred when he convinces himself that his wife and his former master have betrayed him. A Sith now, having accepted Darth Sidious as his master and Darth Vader as his name, Anakin shows no remorse in force-choking Padme and engaging Obi-Wan in a duel to the death. I'm just like...
that's intense.
This is just like tiny little excerpts, just around dumb little photos on the thing. And I literally was like, holy! I closed the book. I was like, oh my God, who wrote this? And I was like, oh, it's James Luceno. No wonder it's so freaking good.
That's almost as good as the bounty hunt description from most recent episode.
God,
go back on the feed.
All right, we're not talking about that. Let's move on.
But that's so. All that stuff combined, I think, shows a great reason why we love these books so much, and why, even if you haven't been a collector like us when we were young, they're so valuable now. Because sometimes you get those great tidbits, sometimes you get those great written things, and sometimes you just get some funny little anecdotes that you can use later on, and they look great on shelves. The artwork is tremendous, and it's just so cool that we kind of indulge in this universe that keeps getting these extra things. So as we close out tonight's show, y'all, I want to go around one time and just say, looking ahead, because we're going to keep getting these reference books. They're continuing to publish them, which is awesome. What is one reference book you want to get in the next couple of years? Charles, what do you want?
Oh man, that's really tough. I would really like. I think a lot of our answers could probably be around the High Republic. I would like some sort of High Republic behind the scenes book that really takes you through those initial meetings between everybody.
Yeah.
And like other ideas that were thrown around that maybe weren't pursued, like that kind of behind the scenes type book. I think that would be pretty incredible.
Maybe like a visual depiction of like how all the Jedi are trying to rescue everybody, and like this is what's happening on this planet. This is what's happening on this planet. Like that'd be pretty rad.
Yeah,
I like that New Year's thing. Wes, what about you, man?
I would like almost like a chronological encyclopedia of Sith artifacts, like from the time that we started with the Sith, like whenever Darth Bane was going through those different planets to find holocrons, kind of go through that. I know that it would skip between Legends and canon, so I don't know if, but I mean, that would be a great reference book, because why not? Yeah, it references loosely canon, and it can be added Legends too. So that's why I like all the Sith lore and the Sith artifacts. So that's something else I like to look for.
That'd be great. Corey?
Do we have any like Mandalorian encyclopedias yet?
We
Not
have,
really, I don't think,
we have
right?
the art of
Yeah, we have an art
Here we
book.
go. Sorry, listeners. We have the art of the Mandalorian season 1, and we have, there's a couple things here, but nothing quite as comprehensive yet.
I would love to see something that, I wasn't really getting at the Mandalorian. I was thinking that was where it would be, but like some kind of visual dictionary that has a lot of imagery, maybe from like even like the prequel or the sequel era, that like really shows like some of the state of things after Return of the Jedi, because we have this huge gap between Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian, and like I bet a visual dictionary about the Mandalorian could like really have some really cool lore about like early First Order stuff, like the state of the galaxy stuff, like politics. I bet there would be a lot of really cool quips in a book like that, even about the Mandalorian, that just kind of like highlights the galaxy at the time. Would be cool.
Yeah, and of course, behind the scenes of the production side, right, making the visual dictionaries and stuff of the Mandalorian are so different now, because it's a show, and we don't know how many seasons it'll go necessarily. So I would imagine, again, we don't know anything ourselves. I would imagine that a lot of these things are going to come once they're like, okay, it's 3 seasons, and then it's over, and then we'll move on, and then we'll release like the full series visual rather than season by season. But who knows? I'm going to piggyback off Charles. I want an art of the High Republic. And I think I want this, like, 5 years down the line, once all 3 phases are finished. Like, concept art to a lot of the interior fan art stuff, the comic art, like, just all the stuff we've kind of been getting on Twitter and things. I want it all in a giant coffee table book. And, just an art of book of the High Republic initiative, I think. Unfortunately, I think we'll get it when it's over. I want it now.
I know.
I want it this
I want something
Christmas,
to look at. Like I find myself looking at stuff on Wikipedia frequently when I'm reading High Republic stuff, because like there's just so much new stuff. Yeah, you want to see the ships, you want to see the people, the characters, and what they're actually drawn to look like from the comics. Like, it's rad.
It's awesome. But I mean, and who knows? We might get these and even more going forward. We will try to bring you, again, reviews of all the reference books that we can. We have a great relationship with our friends at DK. So we'll see as more stuff comes out. We'll let you know what you can put on your Amazon wish list. And who knows, maybe have a couple too many old rainy nails and go shopping for yourself. We've all been there. But one more reminder to everyone listening and viewing. First of all, thank you for hanging out in this episode and kind of indulging in our love of this new format. We'll probably talk about them more as the years go on. But next week, the night of Monday the 26th, we are talking Rising Storm, the, I will say, most talked about book in Star Wars fandom in a long time, especially in our community. We will be doing our full 2-part roundtable. Charles will have questions about characters, about plot, overarching questions and Easter eggs. We will be here the next 2 weeks talking all things Rising Storm. So if you're making your way through it or your pre-order hasn't come in yet, you have until next week. We can't wait to see you here live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Or if you listen, make sure you jump into our Discord channel and the Living Force channel. Tell us all of your thoughts. We cannot seriously wait for this one. It's going to be so fun. And as a reminder, make sure you pre-order Out of the Shadows so you can get your High Republic on next Tuesday. But my friends, that will do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you already support us on Patreon, we want to say thank you so much. You are the reason that we can do all of this. All of this is possible. And a special thank you goes out, of course, to Cheryl Bell, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Doc Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Hankel. Wes is at Boss Wes. A special thank you goes out, as always, to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you in the chat for hanging out live. And as always, may the Force be with you.